welcome to Cushy TV, the straight talking YouTube channel. Yes, I'm bringing you some fight talk today. Yes, fight talk, two brothers from Greater London, Uxbridge, Cowley, yes, Chris and Kevin Finnegan. For you younger guys, you just sit back for a few minutes, let me explain. For you older guys, you would have followed their career, of course. Olympic gold medalist Chris and MBE. Kevin, yes, professional British Commonwealth European champion, as was Chris. British professional Commonwealth and European champion. These boys were the real dudes, yeah? Well, there was only one world title, yeah? For Kevin, very good friend of mine, I'm very proud to say, how he never got a world title shot is beyond me. He had beaten twice European champion. He had beaten the great, brilliant gypsy man from Leicester, Tony Simpson. Did most of you know Tony was a traveller? Might be a piece of history there, yeah. Gypsy man, lovely man, good fighting man, Tony. Great on his fight. Of course, he had his world title shot. In fact, he had two. He went up against Denny Sandridge. He may have even had three, but he certainly went against Adler and Denny Sandridge. Kevin, my mate, gave Tony a nice gentle boxing lesson at the tail end of his career to win back his British middleweight championship. And just to underline how good Kevin Finnegan was and how hard he was, the great, brilliant Marvin Hagler, in many people's opinion, the best middleweight ever to grace the ring. And if he's not, he's, he arguably is. I think he probably is in ones, and it's a bit of beg to differ. But the great, brilliant, hard, tough Marvin Hagler stated the hardest, toughest man he'd ever met in a boxing ring. The toughest, hardest man he'd ever met in a boxing ring was Britain's Kevin Finnegan. And when he was asked about, did he include, he said to date. When he said to date was post-career finish. So that included Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Earns, John the Beast McGarvey, and so on. So just to give you some idea of how tough this man was, Marvin Hagler rated him as the toughest man he'd ever fought. A very, very privileged to say, a good friend of mine. Lovely, lovely man. Kevin Finnegan's fights with Marvin Hagler was so good they had two fights. Finnegan was ahead on both. And Crawley cut on both, and Kevin told me the story. He sat back in his chair in round 8, he said, and his referee come over and said, Finnegan, man, I'm giving you one more round. He said, why are you giving me one more round? I've got him beat. He was quite witty, Kevin. They always, all the Finnegans, very witty. He said, you got another mouth in your face, damn it. And he had a cut about this big, I saw. Cut, literally like another mouth. He had about 65 stitches. What Hagler dished out, but he just could not stop Finnegan from outpointing him. And he said to me, no man ever stopped me. He always called me Jojo. No man ever stopped me, Jojo. He said, only referees. And move on to his brother, Chris. Olympic gold medalist, MBE, 1968, turned professional, almost 55 years today. Went through his career, went through the gears, won the British European title, and challenged the best, just to give you some idea, the best ever light heavyweight, arguably, probably the best ever light heavyweight, Bob Foster, the sheriff from America, yeah, a policeman. Be nice to that policeman, I'd say. He was so good, nobody could get near him at light heavyweight. He had to go up to heavyweight to challenge Ali, and he gave Ali a good fight for 7 or 8 rounds. But at light heavyweight, he was unbeatable. Chris went and had fight of the year with him, went 14 brutal rounds until his tank just emptied. He had no more to give. Great fight, close fight. Foster was edging on points, yeah. So that's how good these brothers were. I was very, very privileged to all the Finnegan brothers I knew and met. There were 7 of them. One died as a youngster, as a baby, a little boy that's, in his infancy. And the other 6 brothers, I knew 4 of them. All very good friends of mine. Chris, Kevin, and the very recent late passing of Michael Maggot, we knew him as Maggot Finnegan, told me a wonderful story for all you unlicensed boxing fans out there. He said, just to underline how good Chris is and how we compare him to wild men in London, right? He said they used to train in the camp in Lavender Hill. They called themselves the Lavender Hill Mob. And Chris would be training for 15 rounds. And my mate Maggot, I used to share many, he's sadly missed by many, but certainly by myself as well, because we share a great boxing talk over a pint. And he used to tell me, right, that Lenny, the Governor Mclean, used to come in for 2 rounds at the end, because he was preparing for 15, so he'd bring in Lenny for 2 rounds. And I said, Maggot, real name Michael, as I said. Maggot, how did he go? How did Lenny square up to Chris? Could he have any chance of beating Chris? And his words was, how the fuck can you beat somebody if you can't hit them? He said he couldn't even lay a glove on my brother. This was the skill of the highly trained, the highest level fighter, the Finnegan brothers. If there had been 4 versions of a world title, no doubt they'd have both been world champions. They'd have been superstars of today's money, right? And Chris actually said himself, Kevin was noted, one of my close strangers, to pick him up after training, and he would come back in that 4 or 5 Guinness. Kevin was the artist. He was an artist by trade, and his brother Chris said, Kevin was better than me. He said, I had to work hard to get as good as I got. Kevin was gifted. That's how good he was. So we had 2 brothers here. Marvin Nagler said he's the hardest man he's ever met. The other one, Lenny Mclean, couldn't even get near in a number of sparring sessions, couldn't even lay a glove on him. So this is how good these guys was. Yes, let's remember the Finnegan brothers and my late friend Maggot. God bless you, mate. And thoughts with Paul, the other brother who's not well at the moment. Love and thoughts, the Finnegan family. Great fighting family.